So I'm Paul Sheehan, executive editor of Gold Derby, and I'm here with Gold Derby founder Tom O'Neill. But you know what? We know maybe movies and TV, but when it comes to Broadway, it's Michael Musto that knows his stuff, and he just wrote a wonderful piece for us this morning about the Tony Award nominations. So Michael, let's kick it off with, I think, a provocative thing that you say. Yes, Hamilton set a record with the most nominations, but you're not expecting it to set a new record with the most wins, are you?
No, the producers has the record for the most wins, which is 12, and they also had some multiple nominations in some of the acting categories like Hamilton does. But I don't think Hamilton is going to win Best Actress, for example, and there are a couple of others where it's iffy. So I think Hamilton will probably get, it's up for 16. The most it could get because of the multiple nominations in categories is 13. So I think it's going to get 11 or 12. It's not going to be producer's record. It might tie.
Yeah, and I guess one of the things they're probably annoyed about is a few years after the producers came, Billy Elliot came along, also got 15, including a nomination in a newish category called sound design, which they got rid of. So Hamilton got denied a chance. If it had been nominated in sound design, it probably would have won and would have had a better shot. So you say, okay, it's going to win musical, win a lot of the creative awards. What about Best Actor in a Musical? Two of the people from Hamilton are in that. Are they going to split the vote?
It's not a lock for anybody in that category. Now, Lin-Manual Miranda, who of course created Hamilton, is up for Best Actor. He plays Hamilton. Duh. He's absolutely fantastic in the show. Leslie Odom actually is even more of a favorite, it seems, for playing the part of Aaron Burr in Hamilton. They might split votes, and what could happen as a result is Danny Burstein, who's up for Fiddler on the Roof for his 6th nomination, might do a Kelly O'Hara and finally win. And I wrote that in my Gold Derby piece, but the more I think about it, there isn't a whole lot of love for Fiddler on the Roof in the nominations. So I actually think Leslie Odom is going to win, and people are going to think Lin-Manual Miranda is very honored. He's going to go home with a lot of awards. He doesn't also need Best Actor.
Now, Tom, I mean, this Lin-Manual Miranda, he's going to win a bunch on the creative side. I mean, he's sort of this multi-hyphenate. Do you think, is he going to be thinking, oh, I shouldn't have written that guy such a good song?
Yes, but I haven't seen Hamilton, unfortunately. I've been stuck out in Los Angeles forever, so I can't just dismiss, using general awards logic, the fact that he could actually win, but just based on the fact that he's the creator of this, the hero of this. Michael, is that just totally out of the question that could happen?
Which exactly? That Lin could win?
Yeah, that Lin could win just because of who he is.
Well, he's fantastic in the show, as I said. He's brilliant. So of course he could win. Yeah, he plays the lead role of Hamilton. He's the creator, star of Hamilton. But there's a lot of love for Leslie Odom as well. And as I mentioned, Danny Burstein is a dark horse who could sneak in there because it's his 6th nomination.
Congratulations to you, Michael. You got 15 of the 16 nominations correct in your predictions. What did you get wrong? What was the one you got wrong?
Christopher Jackson is up for Best Supporting Actor. He's terrific as George Hamilton. George Washington in Hamilton. He doesn't play George Hamilton. And I would have predicted him, but I forgot. And the reality is 3 nominees in Best Featured Actor for Hamilton is really amazing, but producers did that as well. And Gary Beach won out of the 3. So I'm predicting Daveed Diggs to win for Hamilton for Featured Actor. It can happen that you beat 2 co-stars.
And then I think you've got Renee Elise Goldsberry winning. Probably you're predicting her for Featured Actress, I'm guessing, Michael?
Yes. So and I mentioned that Jennifer Hudson is not her competition. She doesn't have to worry. And I predicted that J-Hud would not get nominated for Color Purple. And I actually wrote, there's a bias against her celebrity. I thought she was sensational as Shug Avery, the bisexual libertine who shakes up everybody's lives. And people went into it thinking, oh, she can't act. Of course she can act. She's an Oscar winner. And J-Hud, Tom, and Paul tweeted something before down, saying something about, I guess I was cast for my celebrity, not my talent.
I was just thinking that as you said.
I'm totally with her. She's tremendously talented. She ignited that stage.
But it seemed like that tweet was saying she was slightly resentful or something, of maybe feeling like that she wasn't taken seriously.
But I'm not sure 100% how she meant it. Yeah. She definitely was cast for her talent and her celebrity.
Yeah, she's a powerhouse. She is a powerhouse.
But I think you're saying she's not appreciated for her talent, but she should have been nominated.
Would she? Actually, that's a good question, Michael. Because I think we're going to talk about Best Actress in a Musical now, and I think that a lot of people are saying the woman that plays the main role in that could win. Do you think that she could win, Cynthia Erivo in The Color Purple?
Cynthia Erivo, I think, is a slam dunk to win. She's the kind of person up there that people start crying when they just see her. She is the Miss Celie of everyone's dreams for Color Purple. Two great contenders are Jessie Mueller for Waitress, but she's won before for Beautiful, and Laura Benanti for She Loves Me, which is going to get Best Revival. But Laura Benanti won featured for Gypsy, and I really think it's Cynthia's to win.
Now, but why, if you're casting The Color Purple and you've got Jennifer Hudson on board, was Jennifer Hudson offered one of the bigger parts, either the Celie or...
She's too pretty for the dorky lead character. Right? Isn't that true, Michael?
Well, Cynthia Erivo's pretty too, but my guess is Jennifer Hudson didn't want to play the kind of dowdy abuse victim. She'd rather play the glamorous soignée bisexual. But in any case, her people should have put her in a leading role in another show. That's my opinion. If she was going to get the kudos, she should have been in a revival of No Strings, which was originated by Diane Carroll, something fabulous like that.
So, Michael, the other big headline today is, what the F happened to Audra McDonald? Why was she snubbed?
Oh, he's got a theory. He's got a theory, Tom.
I didn't predict it, but now that I think about it, she's in a terrible blue dress in Act 2.
It's all the blue dresses' fault. Okay.
The blue dress was not nominated for Best Dress. No, all the way. No, I actually think maybe, of course it's easy to say now when I didn't predict her being snubbed, but now that you look back, maybe they felt, well, she's won 6 times. She's the opposite of Dana Percy, and she's won enough, and she wasn't perfectly cast in the role. She's working hard up there, but she's sensational. She deserved a nomination, so I think it's kind of criminal in a way. Occasionally Meryl Streep doesn't get nominated, believe it or not. She wasn't up for Ricky and the Flash.
Michael, Paul knows his Tonys so well, or used to. I mean, we're kind of out of it now, that one day we were backstage at some Tonys event, and we ran into Jane Fonda, and Paul starts asking Jane about her first Tony nomination, and she goes, I wasn't nominated by the Tonys for that. And then we came roaring back. You tell the story, Paul.
Oh, no, I corrected her. It had been 49 years, so she was allowed to...
but how do you forget a Tony nomination?
Well,
Come on.
How gay am I? It was a play called There Was a Girl. Thank you.
She lost to Anne Revere, who'd been blacklisted, who played the mother in National Velvet. She won for a play, I think it was Toys in the Attic.
But Jane was a real trooper about it. She went back home after the incident and wrote a blog item at her personal blog about, oh, I'm so embarrassed, I can't believe I forgot a Tony nomination.
But you know what she really loved was we talked about her father having won a Tony for Mr. Roberts. And in all of our sort of, we are all obsessed with these things. In the old days, the first few Tonys, they didn't have the prize that they have now with the little medallion. The men got cigarette lighters and the women got compacts. So I told her to go hunt up, because she said, I don't know, my father has a Tony. I said, go look for a cigarette lighter with his name on it. So,
nowadays the men get compacts.
Great answer.
Pinky boots and, whatever.
Who also, Billy Porter didn't get nominated from Shuffle Along.
Well, they made a shocking decision, which was all 4 male stars of Shuffle Along were featured. So that really crammed it tight there. There already were the 3 guys from Hamilton. I had actually taken out Brandon Victor Dixon and put in Billy Porter at the last minute. That was wrong. They went with Brandon Victor Dixon for the nominee.
So if it's just going to be Hamilton, Hamilton, Hamilton on the musical side, do we have any clear frontrunners, Michael, on the play side, starting with Best Play? Is there one that you think has an edge right now?
Yeah, Best Play is going to be The Humans, and that's a really good dramedy about a family that gets together. The parents come in from Pennsylvania, meet with the daughters in Chinatown, and there's all these post-9/11 anxieties and economic woes. A really well-crafted piece that's obviously going to win.
Well, now, you say obviously. Now, what's interesting is, these nominations this morning were decided last night by 47 members of the community, academics, artistic directors, actors, and playwrights. The playwright of The Humans, Stephen Karam, was on the nominating committee and then obviously had to drop out when his play went to Broadway. But why do you think it's such a slam dunk? Why not Eclipsed? Eclipsed did as well in the nominations. It's about a very timely subject. It's a a female-led production, all women in the cast.
And let me jump in here and say that Eclipsed, among the experts' predictions at Gold Derby, originally led the predictions, and then after a week or two, the humans took over.
So why not?
So why is that? Yeah,
Michael.
Eclipsed is also tremendous. It's a play about real-life African women being held as basically chattel for this horrifying master who rapes them, and the choice that they have to make between standing for that.
So I guess the producers of Eclipsed somehow they turned into internet gremlins because they didn't like what Michael was saying, that their play was going to win. But I think he's underestimating it, Tom, and now that he's not here to defend his position, I think there's something very powerful about, in 2016, this female-driven project on Broadway, 4 women on stage. A woman wrote it, a woman directed it. And it tells a story that's so relevant and in the headlines about sort of modern-day slavery. I think it could win. I'm not saying it's going to, but I think it's a credible contender. I mean, 2 of the featured actresses were nominated. Lupita Nyong'o's up in lead as well. Am I?
I agree. As you're saying this, it makes more and more sense. I think you're onto something.
Yeah. Now, having said that, I'm not so sure Lupita, who was the darling of the movie award season a few years ago for 12 Years a Slave, I'm not sure she's going to, be seen as in that lead actress category, because she's running right at smack up against your pal Jessica Lange, who finally...
Our pal Jessica Lange, by the way, those of you who are unaware of this, watching this video, Jessica loves Gold Derby. Do a search through our YouTube channel, and you'll see lots of these Google Hangouts we've done with Jessica, always at her request.
That's always her request, and with Tom O'Neill. That's the double. Oh, that's the other part of her request. She knows she wants to go. Well, I suppose with somebody whom she's much more of a contemporary with.
Fuck you! Oh, that's hysterical. Actually, it's probably true too. Now that
but it's interesting. I remember seeing her in Streetcar Named Desire, and then in Glass Menagerie on Broadway. Yeah. Neither time does she get nominated for a Tony. She did this production, gosh, 12, 14 years ago in London, and I saw her over there, and she was marvelous. Do you know who produced this for her on Broadway? One of the producers is Ryan Murphy.
No, really? Yes. Interesting.
So now this is a part, Mary Tyrone in Long Day's Journey. I mean, this play runs almost 4 hours. She's on stage for all but one scene.
No, she's not. Now you have seen it, you're saying, right?
No, I have not. I saw it in London, but
you saw it in London. My only exposure to this play is the Tony Richardson film with Ralph Richardson and Katharine Hepburn, and the issue there is Hepburn doesn't come into the movie till late. She's got a few little.
No, on stage it's slightly different. I think she's front and center for most of those 3 hours and 45 minutes. Okay. So I sort of feel like she got the nomination, which might have been the hard part. Now, and don't forget, the pool opens up from 47 people who go see everything to now 850 odd, and some very odd, Tony voters who will decide the winners. So I really think that it's it's hers. And then she'd have a couple of Oscars. She's got a few Emmys. Now a Tony. We just need to get her to do a reading of poetry or something to get the Grammy.
Yeah, for the EGOT. Yeah, I agree with you. I think she's so formidable. Remember, her last victory at the Emmys was a bit of an upset. That for American Horror Story, she surprised us. But I think that there's that much love for her out there, and this is also a play with such gravitas. This is O'Neill's greatest play.
Yeah,
and she's giving a commanding performance. And as we have observed, Paul, recently Hollywood stars have done, if nominated, and that's always been the caveat, if they can get back past that nominating committee, they tend to do well. Whether it's Denzel Washington, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
That's right. Yeah, and in fact, one of the people that couldn't get past the nominating committee when she did Cabaret a couple of years ago was Michelle Williams, who is nominated this year for Blackbird, as is Jeff Daniels, and the play, never been done on Broadway before, but done regionally a lot, got nominated for revival. So I almost think that Lange's competition, she's got Lupita, Oscar winner, but she's also got Michelle Williams, a couple of times that she's been nominated for an Oscar. And then The Crucible, which slightly underperformed, but you could have Sophie Okonedo. And we've got, on that note, we've got Michael Musto back.
What did I miss? Sophie Okonedo.
We came up with a conspiracy theory. You tell them, Paul.
Oliver Stone, what's going on?
Oh, no, just that the producers of The Eclipse somehow got into your internet connection. So
Eclipsed is a terrific play about being raped at the hands of this horrible master. There are multiple wives in this situation, and they have to decide whether they're going to stick with that or go join the army, put guns, to other women's heads and make them get raped by the master. It's a play of tremendous urgency. I just think The Humans is a slightly better play. And also Eclipse didn't get a lot of love in some of the other awards that have come up along the way. Humans was a runner-up for the Pulitzer.
Oh.
So I think Humans is going to win the Tony.
Okay. And then what about Jessica Lange versus Lupita versus Michelle Williams? Where do you see that race going, Michael?
My personal favorite was Michelle Williams. She is tremendous in the role of an abuse victim who comes back to confront her abuser, Jeff Daniels, in Blackbird. However, her performance has divided people. Some people who saw the original production with Alison Pill felt Michelle came on too strong starting at the beginning. I disagree. Jessica, I think, has got it in the bag because she really has to be up there on stage for hours and hours. It's still going on, I think. It's a long day's journey into tonight. Also, the main thing about Jessica is that she made a very shaky stage debut on Broadway. Anyway, in 1992, in A Streetcar Named Desire, you couldn't hear what she was saying. She seemed to have already had the breakdown before the show even started. So we've seen her grow as a stage actress. I'm sure she's been through some training as to how to work the stage. And she's tremendous in the part of Mary Tyrone, who's addicted to morphine and trying to sort out the different horrible things that have taken residence in her psyche. I can't see how she could lose.
And then over on the Best Actor side, Michael, who do you sort of think right now is the front runner?
I had thought Mark Strong was going to win for View from the Bridge, but that show has closed. That doesn't mean it can't win Revival, because Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf won Revival 3 years ago after it had closed. It also won Best Actor for Tracy Letts. So Mark Strong is still a very strong possibility, but Frank Langella has won 3 times. He's one of these Broadway legends. He's playing a man in The Father with Alzheimer's. He is the whole show, and he's amazing. So I don't see how they're going to forget, as it were, to give him another Tony.
And that would be, I think, his 4th Tony Award.
This would be, yes.
And then you talked about the 2 featured performers in The Humans, so that could end up doing quite well. If there was sort of, Michael, if you could just have a wish and grant somebody a Tony that's probably not going to win, I mean, who would it be? Who stood out for you this season in a performance that probably won't win?
I disagree usually with every winner, so pick all the 4 other people in every category and I'd be happy. But I don't know. I really wish there had been more Tony love for American Psycho. I thought that was a very innovative, really kind of brilliant production. And I think it only got 2 sort of technical nominations. The Tonys went more for heartwarming things like Bright Star, which frankly has one of the worst plots since a Hallmark movie. I won't even tell you what happens in Bright Star. But it's one of those wacky coincidences. But of course, everybody loves the show by Steve and Edie. Steve Martin.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Brendan Lemon gave me that one.
I love it.
But okay. Benjamin Walker should have been nominated. I would have liked to see him get some love there for American Psycho, but they went for the heartwarming stuff.
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people were hoping for Carmen Cusack, the lead of Bright Star, to be nominated. So she did. And what's interesting is that the nominating committee ended up expanding 3 of the 4 production categories. They couldn't make up their minds, and so you've got slightly bigger races for musical and play revival and So that's great to see. And music revival, even Spring Awakening getting in, which I think a lot of people had thought was maybe on the fence.
Which makes it hard to predict these days because you don't know how many nominees each category is going to have. It's sort of like predicting the best picture at the Oscars. You don't know if it's going to be 8, 9, 10. But in any case, Carmen Cusack was terrific at Bright Star, and I made fun of Bright Star, but it has a wonderful score, great staging. She's amazing. And Anna Villafane was also fantastic and On Your Feet. She plays Gloria Estefan. In any other year, she would have been nominated. And you're starting to see more and more why Audra McDonald could get snubbed, because this is a great year for actress in a musical.
Isn't that nice? And I think what I was saying while we lost you was that, as you point out in your piece, you know, it might have been Oscars so white, but it's really Tony so inclusive, isn't it? It's really
so many people of color between Hamilton, Eclipsed, Color Purple, Shuffle Along. Nothing for James Earl Jones and Cicely Tyson, but that's because it was early in the season. Plenty of people of color nominated and are going to go home with trophies. No problem with diversity here.
Oh, that's
Michael, those of us who have not seen Hamilton, like myself, is it as great as the hype?
It is, and even if you see it now, after Lin-Manual has been anointed the second coming of Christ, you're still going to be amazed by it because it takes history, it takes the stuffiness out of history, puts it in a hip-hop, rap milieu with a multicultural cast. You never once sit there going, wait, how can George Hamilton be black? Why do I keep saying George Hamilton? George Washington in Hamilton be black.
I'm curious.
And it's beautifully staged from the second it starts. It swirls. There's nonstop movement. Every element is done to perfection.
Okay, so we talked about, at the outset of this, about it's a good way to wrap it up. We talked about the producers, Hamilton setting a record with the most nominations, maybe not the most wins. The producers didn't have a super duper long run on Broadway, though, did it? I mean, do you think
about 6 years?
Yeah, but I mean, it didn't. I mean, not like Phantom of the Opera is still running, and a few shows. Dolly ran longer.
6 years was not as long as you would imagine for a show that was such a sensation, but it turned out to be very star-driven. People really wanted to see Nathan and Matthew.
And do you think?
Some people that were just pastors.
Now, do you think Hamilton will run that risk or not?
No, I don't think Hamilton is star-driven. I think whoever, you know, as long as they put great people in, and even Lin-Manuel Miranda's understudy is somebody people adore. So as long as they put good people in, it's going to work. And here's another reason Hamilton is a phenomenon. It's about the power of immigration. Hamilton is an immigrant who comes here from the West Indies and redefines American economy. This is a play that Donald Trump is going to hate, and that's why I love
it. And I heard a great story that Jane Krakowski had her house seats pulled because Bernie Sanders needed them. See, he was trying to get some cred before the New York primary. So this is a show that everyone wants to see. And
well, there's a rumor that it's going to be up to $900 and something for premium seats. So you're going to have to mortgage your house, sell your children. It's worth it.
Even the road tour show that's coming here to LA, I think in August, is $400 or $500 a ticket. I hear it's just absurd.
And that's with Joey Fatone.
Oh, oh my God! Oh no!
And you know what? You know who they got? They got George Hamilton to play George Washington, Mike.
In blackface.
All right. Well, listen, I think this is the first of many conversations we're going to have with Michael, who's got sort of a Broadway baby, but he also knows movies and TV and music. I mean, we're so delighted that he's joining the Gold Derby gang. So thank you, Michael, for educating us on the Tonys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Take care.